And seniors, go ahead and get yourselves pulled together. This is your time with Coach Legando. So, Coach Tony, come on up.
Number 1, Lathan Maddox. You don't need a title to be a leader. Lathan Maddox had no real title on this team. He was not picked as a captain. He never became all-conference, all-district, or all-state. He didn't need any of that to motivate him to lead. He just led. It was the quiet, no-ego, unassuming type of leadership. There was never any hoopla, look at me, fireworks displays, or marquee demands. His leadership was more of an inside job, and I loved his style. It was steady, trusting, and steeped in long-haul dedication and dependability. Oh, he liked the bling, little fashion statements that said, hey, I'm my own man. I have a little style, a little grace, a little individuality. And it lent itself to forging his own path of leadership, and I loved it. Because I honestly do appreciate and respect man. I watched Lathan as an underclassman take 3 or 4 ball players aside every day in practice and work on his own. And they responded to his teaching like I had never seen before. He demanded repetition, he praised, he instructed, and he encouraged perfection. And every day they responded. They listened, worked it, and drilled to perfection. He taught me, young men, when given the opportunity, can forge out on their own, motivate, praise, correct, appreciate, and flat out teach. And they don't need a title to get it done. I've had some great talks with this young man. People think it is in come-from-behind victories, playoff appearances, and 2-minute drills that coaches will savor when they walk away from the game. I say it is in getting the opportunity to work with young men like Lathan Maddox that coaches will hold closest to their hearts when they look back. And though I will miss the man's quiet dignity and integrity and grace, I know it's time for this young man to continue a new journey. He's ready. And I wish him the best of luck and encourage him to continue to forge ahead, full speed as his own man. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 1, Lathan Maddox. Number 11, Cody Thompson. The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him in other men the conviction and the will to carry on. I don't think it's easy being Cody Thompson. I think it's hard. To be as talented as this young man is, people want more, expect more, even demand more when you carry this much talent into the playing fields of any proud community. People put kids like this under their own little microscopes and hover, criticize and even try to elevate their own self-worth, pretending to rival this young man's talents. But if you're a good man, a true competitor, you invest in team and turn a deaf ear to those lonely souls who never made it, you can make it all work. And Cody Thompson did just that. He made it all work with class and dignity and integrity. You have no idea how much this kid gave the team. He lived it, breathed it, nurtured it, and certainly developed it every day, every play, every second of his career. You can't care more. Since 1980, I've watched young men move up and down the field at Huron Memorial Stadium, playing a game they love. I doubt there are 2 who have had more natural ability than this young man. And I doubt there is another who played harder, who practiced harder, who demanded more of himself and inspired more with ability. We came to expect greatness on the field, and he delivered. We came to expect greatness off the field, and he delivered. But the way he delved into team, the way he stayed centered, the way he respected and appreciated the physical talents he was blessed with, left his coaches in awe, for he made team his greatest accomplishment. Football programs elevate when they push their athletes in the direction of the physically great, but they flourish and reach greatness over the long haul when they push in the direction of leadership greats. His legacy will not be lost in Huron football lore, for he leaves behind in other men the conviction and the will to carry on. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 11, Cody Thompson. Number 16, Nick Mix. Joe Gibbs, longtime NFL coach, once said, look for players with character and ability, but remember, character comes first. With Nick Mix, we got both, and we never had to look too far, for he was brought up through the ranks of Huron football, a testament to the culture we are trying to create. Equipment boy, biddy camps, leadership camps, junior high football, freshman football, and varsity ball. When the time came to strap up the helmet at any age, he led the charge. In the classroom, 4.0 GPA, National Honor Society, Boys State, you find a good academic program, he'd lead the charge. In the community, Camp Good Grief, Stein Hospice, Giving Tree, United Way, a family in need, you name it, he'd lead the charge. He even represented his team, presenting flowers to Mrs. Ted Temper, whose husband was wounded in the European theater in World War II and passed away last summer. He's all class. On the field, he played quarterback, running back, receiver, deep back, linebacker, and H-back. He'd run the ball hard, catch the ball in traffic over the middle, and knock your head off if you tried to run the ball to his side. In the locker room, he'd proudly stand in the middle of the locker room and lead his team in a fight song with an emotion that came from deep in the soul. As a team player, he'd sweep the middle room, Teddy's room, the restroom, or the freshman locker room. Didn't matter to him. He understands ownership, investment, and the value of working together. And he did it all with a unique leadership style that seemed to say, lead right, or I might not follow. Follow right, or I might not lead. But you walk beside me right, and I'll be your friend. Coaches all over the state of Ohio pined for what we had. They craved what we had. But if they really wanted what we have, they would put the chalk down long enough to invest not in their X's and O's, but in young men with courage, young men who understand leadership, young men who have the strength to get up in the face of peer pressure and do what is right. Young men exactly like Nick Mix. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 16, Nick Mix. Number 28, Gus Heimberger. Make each day your masterpiece. You have control over that. There was a time, like most young men, when Gus doubted himself too much. I think confidence eluded him. And I'm not sure he believed that in football he could make each day his masterpiece. I think he looked other places to find himself, and I'm glad he manned up, turned the corner, and took control of his own success, his own life, his own place on our football team. When young men are tested, when they search their places in this world and can't seem to find it, and they search sometimes the wrong places, I believe the only things that can pull them out, straighten them up, and get them headed back in the right direction are found in words like trust, friendship, caring, and love. The love of people who care about, and the love of people who care about you. I thought we were going to lose Gus along the way, and I worried. I knew he needed more than what the coaches could give him to believe in himself, and I certainly was at a loss for how to bring him back into the fold. Then it happened. He started to come around, started to fit back in, started to get back that confidence you need to be a Huron football player. And here's my take on how it happened. Teammates, Huron kids, those guys that proudly wear the crimson and gray, proudly display that storied H on the side of their helmets, came to his rescue. They let him know, hey, Gus, we need you. We need who you are. We need your abilities. We want your friendship. You're one of us. And we need you to help us make each day our masterpiece. It was real, it was heartfelt, and it was work. He came back, he dug in, he renewed his faith in team and answered the call. When we would win, when the team would celebrate, I'd watch Gus. There was a deeper conviction in him than you find in most. I think he understands the power of Huron football more than most. Because he experienced what it can truly do for you, and because of it, his legacy in Huron football will always be a powerful one. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 28, Gus Heimberger. Number 29, Zack. In matters of value, character counts. If you've been around our program for any length of time, you know we open our doors to the soccer program, hoping to recruit their talents to help us put the ball between the uprights at crunch time and win a game or two along the way. In our hunt, we have 3 criteria. 1, can the kid get the ball through the uprights? 2, does he have the GPA necessary to be eligible at the end of the quarter as the playoffs begin? And 3, does he have the character to make it all work? Our kickers, through the guidance and coaching of Ryan Manor, are basically on their own to come in when they can. Coach Z doesn't have the time to track them down. He's too busy scheming how to build walls to return punts. He doesn't have the time or the patience to be hanging out at McCormick soccer field, tracking the kickers down. And Coach Manor has done that detail long enough to know they have to make their own decisions about practice and repetition to be successful. Well, here's what we've learned over the years. The Zack boys have all 3 qualities we search. History has taught us the Zack boys can get the ball through the uprights when it matters. The Zack boys have the GPA necessary to be eligible when report cards come home as the playoffs begin. And the Zack boys have the character to develop their own schedule to ensure quality repetition. Now, there are 2 other factors that have made the Zack boys successful. 1, Coach Manor is good, real good, at coaching our kickers. He's meticulous in his approach, and as a former Huron kicker himself, he knows completely what it takes to be successful as a dual sport athlete. And 2, Nathan's mom and dad are about as supportive of our program as any parents I've ever worked with. I want to thank them for their belief in what we do, and I want to thank Nathan for respecting our program and understanding completely that in matters of value, character does count. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 29, Nathan Zack. Number 30, Patrick Newsome. Stand up to your obstacles and do something about them. You'll find that they haven't half the strength you think they have. When kickers first try out for us, it's a new arena, a different game. The approach is foreign to them, the rules are a bit different, and the chemistry and dynamics of the game are different from what they are used to. But one common thread runs through both soccer and football. They're team games. And somewhere along the line, you have to gain the confidence of your team to excel. You have to feel their support and earn their respect. It's not an easy task, but a lack of it can humble the greatest of competitors. The more Patrick practiced, the more he developed the intangibles needed to be successful in this new arena. But trying to make the grade in just 1 year can be tough. So he had to meet the obstacles head on fast, real fast, and do something about them. What I learned observing Patrick is he's his own man. Like most proud competitors, he had to learn how to do something about those obstacles on his own. And as he did, you could see the confidence start to build, and the talent, lingering deep inside, was starting to find its way to the surface. That confidence first showed on the practice field, and it slowly but surely transferred over to the game field, and he started to realize the obstacles he's faced had half the strength he thought they had. We would have loved to have Patrick for 4 years. By the end of this season, his first as a football player, I felt it was starting to turn corners, making great strides, understanding what we were all about both on and off the field. Though I never really got to know Patrick that well, I'm proud of his progress. I respect his journey and what he brought to the Tigers in 2013, and I hope he learns something from us to help him as he moves on and furthers his education. As one of those rare 4.0 GPA guys, I'm confident he's quite capable of busting through the educational obstacles at the next level. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 30, Patrick Newsome. Number 32, Zack. Wars may be fought with weapons, but they are won by men. It is the spirit of the men who follow and the man who leads that gains victory. In Huron, we have many weapons to fight our football wars. We have to run and shoot. We build walls on punt returns. We run option football. We swarm the ball on defense and loom over anyone who threatens our turf. These are all necessary weapons, so to speak, in the Huron arsenal of gaining victory. And because we have such high-profile weapons, built with pride and nurtured over the years, with well-documented success and victory, I hope we don't lose sight of the real reason we succeed, The real reason we succeed is because of the spirit of the men who follow leaders like Zack that does in fact gain our victories. Over time, our athletes can run and hit and catch and pursue with a consistency and a winning percentage that rival coaches only dream of. Since 1988, we have had 25 of 26 winning seasons, 13 playoff appearances, 6 SBC championships, 7 regional appearances, and 1 trip to the state finals. Over that same time span, we've had some impressive senior leaders with names like Harper Road West, Cobb, Fisher, and Lair, and powerful group of leaders by any standard. But when Zack came along, he didn't wait till he was a senior to take the reins of leadership. He took the reins as a junior and followed through as a senior with a powerful force, a force that would turn the heads of any man who has ever carried the burden of leadership for the men of summer. I don't often speak of statistics at a banquet. I don't believe they reveal the true heart and soul of a competitive man. But when an inside linebacker has 189 tackles in a single season, that statistic and the power behind each of those 189 tackles reveals the heart and soul of a man who had a special love for the game and a rare love of teammates. And that deserves just a little attention, even at a Huron banquet. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 32, Zack. Number 34, Spencer Maddox. Contrary to the opinion of many people, leaders are not born. Leaders are made, and they are made by effort and hard work. What's with these Maddox boys? What makes them work so hard? What drives them? What makes them so dependable? How do they handle the heat, the pressure, the long hours, and the intense competitive nature of what we do? The answer is simple, easy to find. Sit down and talk with mom and dad, and the answer becomes obvious in the first sentence of your first conversation. The Maddox boys can raise right. Mom and dad get it. They understand what's in the cat will be in the kitten if the time spent with family is the most important time of each and every day. Because they've done their due diligence each and every day, their leadership skills, the leadership skills of their sons, both of them, were made by effort and hard work. There was no magic, no smoke and mirrors, no complicated formula, just effort and hard work. And because Spencer Maddox is such a hard worker, gives so much effort, and is such a gentleman, tell me something. When he grabbed the football and sprinted down the far sideline against Liberty Benton, because it was Spencer, didn't it just light you up a bit more than usual? Didn't it just make you smile a bit more than usual? I've worked a lifetime with people who don't get it. They want touchdowns for their sons. They want football scholarships for their sons. They want headlines and praise and pats on the back. Not the Maddox family. They want something deeper, something more meaningful, something more lasting. They want discipline, lessons learned, work ethic, and drive. They want those qualities that all of us should want. We will miss the speed of Spencer Maddox, but we can replace that speed. We will miss the elusiveness of Spencer Maddox, but we can replace that elusiveness. And we'll miss his open field tackling, but that too can be replaced. What we will miss, what I do hope and pray we can replace, is the values and the character and the integrity that Spencer brought to Huron Memorial Stadium. If we can replace just that, we will have, in the true spirit of the Maddox family, not a born leader, but one made by effort and hard work. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 34, Spencer Maddox. Number 39, Andy Dowell. It is important to remember that everyone is different and has to be motivated differently. The motivation that stimulated Andrew Dowell came from within the game itself. He loves competition. He comes from a background where they love to compete. They love to get up into each other's grill and do a little jawing, get after each other, challenge each other. Since he was a little kid, I watched him play ball in the yard next to my house. His family, all of them, grandpa, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, they all know how to compete. They know how to win on a ball field or a basketball court. They are relentless in their attack, relentless in their competitive spirit. It's in their blood. I think Andrew Dow respects external motivation, those things that rally teams together leading into the game, but I think he thrives on the simple, I can whoop you before you can whoop me kind of motivation. It's basic, it's homespun, and it works. My memories of Andrew and Huron football will not necessarily be of fight songs, pre-game meals, or shirts and ties on a playoff road trip. My memories of Andrew Dow will be in devastating tackles, looming, extra effort, a little pushing and shoving, let the other guy know I can whoop you better than you can whoop me. I've gone nearly full circle with the Dow family. As a boy, I watched Grandpa compete. As a young coach, I helped Dad compete. And as a coach getting up there in years, I watched Andrew compete. Same deal, same formula, same success. Never fear, there are more Dowells on the horizon. I understand that the same cold glitter in the attacker's eyes, that fierce determination, the pure joy of knocking the other guy upside the head to let them know who's boss, is on their way. Just when you start to worry about replacing the toughness one Dowell brings to the program, another one pops up, ready to get after it, ready to grab hold and do some battle. The Dow family makes our program tougher, and Andrew certainly enhanced that family legacy. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 39, Andrew Dow. Number 44, Drew Hanley. Respect yourself, and others will respect you. There are many players I have coached over the years who I have gained a deep appreciation for because they seem to respect themselves, and others respect them because of it. Drew Hanley is one of those guys, and I'm absolutely in awe of what this young man has been able to accomplish as a football player. You know why? In football, it's hard to gain respect when you don't play much on Friday nights. And in all honesty, Friday nights were not where Drew Hanley was going to shine, and he knew it. He'd drive to the stadium, get dressed, go through all the pregame hoopla and preparation like a champion, knowing he wasn't going to play at crunch time. Yet he handled himself with a class and a dignity that would bring any team player to his knees. It's called mental toughness. I wonder, how much class does it take to do that? How much integrity does it take to do that? Go back in time, knowing what I know now about what's really important in competing as a young man, I'd want to be recognized for true accomplishment. I would want what Drew Hanley has accomplished. I would want to walk out of this banquet tonight knowing I accomplished a tougher detail than maybe any other man in the room. I'd have no plaques, no statistics, no conference recognition, nothing material at all. But what I would have is respect from everyone who knows anything about our program. Now, the common man would say, excuse me, coach, the kid didn't cross the goal line much. Or, excuse me, coach, the kid didn't make that many key tackles. I know, he didn't. Yet he was a vital part of this team. What Cody or Zack or Andrew or Nick or any of them brought to the field on Friday nights, this kid was equal in what he gave to this team every night. Ask the guys up here, ask any one of them, they'll tell you. And that is incredible to me. I get how you gain the respect of young people when you can run and jump and catch. I get that. They were weaned on football heroics. But when you can gain respect because you respect yourself and your place on the team, I'm sorry, that one blows me away. Drew Hanley respected his teammates, his coaches, the H-team, the boosters, the moms, the dads, the equipment boys, and our entire program. All of it, every day. Next year we'll find speed, athleticism, power, and strength. Those are the easy ones to replace. But we will not be able to compete, Huron compete, until we find men who respect themselves and gain the respect of others. And because of it, we need to find, real fast, another Drew Hanley. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 44, Drew Hanley. Number 55, 55, Reed Rashaun. The price of success is hard work, dedication to the job at hand, and determination that whether we win or lose, we have applied the best of ourselves to the task at hand. In all truth, I'm not sure there's a man in this room who can outwork Reed Rashaun. I don't care what generation you come from, what nationality you hail from, what neighborhood you were raised in, or what family story you could bring to the table. I honestly believe this kid's work ethic rests only with the legends of the game. I watched this young man work so hard, tears would pour down his face. I watched this kid sweat so hard, I'm not sure he had any more sweat to give. I heard him grunt and groan as he pushed and shoved and chopped his feet for as long and as hard as he could. He is quite simply an incredible young man. Do me a favor, when you drive home tonight with your son, ask him, was Coach Legando exaggerating when he was talking about Reed Rashaun? I have no doubt if your son was coherent at all on our practice field, he'll look you in the eye and tell you, no, wasn't exaggerating at all. I have been known to battle hard for education. I've been known to put my career on the line to fight for what I believe in. And because I get a chance every day to work in the trenches with young men like Reed Rashaun who, by their hard work and by the simple elegance of the examples they set, you have no idea how long and how hard I can battle. And in Huron, I certainly don't stand alone in my commitment to our youth. You look at my coaches and their time on task. You take a good long look at the H-team and the boosters and the moms and dads of this program and of this school system. They fight for our kids. And because of who we are, because of our desire to give the kids of Huron what they need to be successful, I can look student athletes like Reed Rashaun in the eye and say, young man, we gave you all we had and you responded. And he can look right back in my eyes and in the true spirit of Reed Rashaun say something like, yes sir, thank you. And in return, coach, I gave you guys all I had and you responded. Thanks for the memories, Reed. You have no idea the pride you have given me. Like the true greats who have come before you, your journey has not always been smooth and carefree, but your journey brought unparalleled success on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. Your journey rests with the legends of the game, and in my Hall of Fame, you're in the first class. You respected the game, and Huron is what we do. Number 55, Reed Rashaun. Number 58, Tobin Knight. Real difficulties can be overcome. It is only the imaginary ones that are unconquerable. The only real difficulties Tobin Knight ran into on the football field, he attacked. He refused to let imaginary difficulties creep into his psyche. Too busy trying to master technique. I'm not sure anyone noticed it, but Tobin Knight was not the biggest cat in the fight on Friday nights. He's an offensive and defensive lineman, 5 feet 8 inches tall, and if you believe in the Easter Bunny, he weighs about $160. So instead of developing a victim mentality, instead of developing some kind of entitlement mentality, he did just the opposite. He invested in technique, mental toughness, consistency of purpose, and competitive fight, taking any imaginary difficulties and flat out conquering them. Good strategy worked for him. Good strategy. It worked for the 2013 Huron Tigers. Let's get real for a minute. The landscape of the SBC has changed. There was a time Huron was a top dog in enrollment. We were one of the biggest dogs in the fight. We hang at the low end of the spectrum now, and we embrace the challenge. To survive, we have to invest in the Tobin Knight School to overcome difficulties. He gives us a roadmap to success. If they're bigger and more powerful, lean on technique. Lean on quickness, be more aggressive, communicate better, and finally invest in team. That's the big one, invest in team. And when you're done, don't judge your performance on the scoreboard. Judge your performance on the intangibles. Did you outwork them? Did you battle longer and harder? Did you rally your teammates? Did you represent those who came before you? And if you can answer yes and walk off the field with your head held high, celebrate long enough to sing fight songs with all the energy you have left, and get ready for the next street fight, because you got Bellevue or St. Paul or Clyde or Perkins on the horizon, and you have promises to keep. And if you're Tobin Knight, you have to get that 5-foot 8-inch frame ready, not just for the next battle. You have to get ready to go deep enough into the playoffs to hoist a regional trophy over your head and walk off the field feeling good about your time wearing the crimson and gray, feeling good about your time overcoming the real difficulties and pushing aside those imaginary ones. You respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 58, Tobin Knight. Number 59 down Maybe. Hold yourself responsible to a higher standard than anybody else expects of you. Never excuse yourself, never pity yourself. Be a hard master to yourself. And be lenient to everyone else. There are certain young men you coach who do just that. They hold themselves responsible to a higher standard than anyone expects of them. Don Maley was just that way. With Don in the program, if you chewed out an offensive or defensive lineman, he felt responsible. If you got up in the face of one of the underclassmen, he felt responsible. If you challenged the senior leader, he felt the heat. For Don, he didn't have to think things through. Responsibility for those he was charged to lead is an inside job. It's part of his makeup. If I went after someone in practice, let me tell you who was listening as much, if not more, than the guy I was going after, Don Maley. I could always feel his eyes. He'd look at me, then look at the guy I was chewing, then back at me. He was studying the situation, getting a feel for what he was going to do as a leader to complete the process. I'd watch him when I was done. He would move in and make sure the young man in question understood the message. Made sure the young man in question could handle the fight. Made sure the kid wasn't excusing himself or pitting himself or losing the message that would make him better. A football coach can't teach what's inside a young man like Don Maley. Only a mom can build what's inside this kid. And the mom he went home to every night, because of the type of young man Don Maley is, in my book, she's a star. She's in a class of her own. There's a tough side of Don Maley that I admire too. He was the inside strength on this team. His leadership, holding the troops together in the offensive trenches, is what gave Cody Thompson time to dance. His leadership work in the defensive trenches is what gave Zack time to pursue the ball carrier with a vengeance. All strength on the field was funneled, both physically and mentally, through number 59. But this is Huron. Back up a bit, Coach. How good was his strength and leadership off the field? I don't know. Go ask the Templer family, the Wennis family, the Storr family, the Lenyo family. Go ask the soldiers at the Fallen Heroes Memorial Services and their families. Go ask them about this team's strength and leadership off the field. Check their GPA, calculate their community service hours and time on task with the youth of our community, and then come back and here's what I think you'll tell me. This team, the one we honor tonight, both on and off the field, they were strong. They were Huron strong, because leaders like Don Maley made sure they held themselves to a higher standard than anybody else expected of them. End of the discussion. He respected the game. In Huron, it's what we do. Number 59, Don Maley. In Huron football, we give out one real recognition award. It's called the Selfless Award. We don't give out an award for most valuable lineman or most valuable running back. We don't honor tackles, touchdowns, or yardage gained. We try to make football about more than just athletic ability. The Selfless Award is voted on by the players the last day we meet as a team. In fact, tonight, they voted before they walked in the room. They take it seriously as they understand the value of being selfless. The award can go to a football player, a community member, or anyone close to the Huron Tiger football program. It's been given to all. The criteria is simple. The Selfless Award goes to anyone who puts the team ahead of themselves throughout the entire football season, inclusive of the hours we spend in preparation, in the classroom, in the hallways, and on the streets. This year's recipients of the 2013 Selfless Award, as voted on by their teammates, are Lathan Maddox, Drew Hanley, Rashaun. These three young men will receive one of Kieran Tiger football scholarships for $500, and their names will go on a plaque to be displayed in our library. When you start working with kids, and you hear me say this, but it's true, you know, like fourth grade, and most of these guys somewhere along the way in the classroom. And you get them in all these camps and all these summer programs, and you watch them as they, I don't know, go out in the community and do what they do. You have meetings with them when they're up, when they're down, family trouble, family good times. It can be tough to let go. You know, sometimes I think maybe it's better to be a high school coach where they come in as a sophomore or something, and you don't get to know them quite as well as we do. It'd be easier to let them go. And I know some people probably don't think that we're about what we're about. I got a coaching staff that puts football in its place. It is nothing more than a vehicle, a tool, an opportunity to teach young men how to stand on their own 2 feet. We take that job serious. There's not enough excitement for grown men in just winning a football game. Guys, you don't put 35 years of your life into just winning a football game. It's watching young people, being a part of young people's lives, trying to help them get there. I've seen what tough times can do to young people, how they can be put behind the 8 ball. Football takes a hit. Everybody wants to talk about how tough it is. Everybody wants to talk about injuries. I'll tell you right now, the alternative that's out there, if your son's not involved in something like this, have at it. You're on your own. But if your son gets a chance to work with those coaches who came up here and tell me you couldn't see in their eye that they care about these kids, you got something special going. Hang on. You watch these guys grow. And if along the way they stumble, I know to be the first at their door. I know the first ones that'll be there getting right up in their face, maybe not telling them what they want to hear, but telling them what they need to hear. We're in. We love who we work with. We love who we work with. And you parents give us a wonderful product, for a lack of a better word. Wonderful people to work with. There is no better coaching job than right here in this community. You might think I'm just talking. You might think I'm just giving you a speech. But I believe in what I'm telling you. I wouldn't do this if I didn't. To you seniors, I never, ever, ever dreamt that we could get a team to this level. I'm not talking on the field. I'm talking all of it. In this day and age, you pick up the paper tomorrow morning and you read what's going on in the youth in this area all over. You're not going to like what you read all the time. When they're with us, they got a good chance of fighting chance, an honest chance to be who you and I want them to be. Thanks for your time and effort tonight. It has been our pleasure. Congratulations to you guys. Thanks for what you do.